Chelsea fans, Stamford Bridge was electric. It was the blue is the color echoing loud and clear in every single stand. Chelsea have taken down Liverpool, the champions of last year. And if this is how we expect the new era of Chelsea's youth policy to explode, the rest of the league better look out for Chelsea. Hello and welcome to my channel, Your Sports Huddle, with me, Puneet. Before we actually break down the 5 key moments that define this unbelievable performance, let's talk about the last 2 weeks of chaos, drama, starting at Manchester United and continued at the Bridge against Brighton. It was chaos to start off with. You expect when you have so many young players playing, you experienced goalkeeper to have taken the initiative and be a bit reasonable. But as in how the match started under torrential rain at Old Trafford, within the first 4 minutes, Robert Sanchez got sent off and Chelsea were down to 10 men. From then onwards, it was chaos which unfolded in Chelsea losing 2-1 against Manchester United. Before anyone could jump into why this performance was like that, one has to understand that in the last 13 seasons, Chelsea have not won a single game against United, playing in their den. I understand this is by far the worst Man United squad we have witnessed in over a decade. But still, whenever it comes to Chelsea and playing against Man United at Old Trafford, we always falter. Sometimes the performances vary, sometimes the players are not up to the mark, and now red cards galore, mistakes after mistakes. And it continued from that Man United game over the weekend, 2 weeks back, to the next game against Brighton at home. Chelsea started tremendously well in the first half, taking a 1 lead goal, by Enzo Fernandez scoring a header. And I thought, Chelsea are there or thereabout, and they'll make sure that, come the second half, they'll be reasonable to try and, exploit those little areas of weaknesses that you might find on the wings at Brighton. But unfortunately, Chelsea once again was at fault. Another mistake by Travis Chalobah, and Chelsea were once again down to 10 men. And from then onwards, you were licking your wounds. Like I've mentioned in a couple of videos back as well, these mistakes need to stop. I understand it's a youth policy from the sporting directors at Chelsea and Clear Lake. But this youth policy also needs to have discipline, which needs to come. And unfortunately, the chaos which started at Manchester United continued at the Bridge, and Chelsea lost 3-1 to Brighton, and everybody was once again back to the scoreboard, thinking how the season has not unfolded in a way that we actually expected it to unravel after having had a tremendous end of last season, having won the Club World Cup, beating PSG in the final 3-0, a performance worthy of a top team, and Chelsea is a top team even with this youth policy. But somehow this policy sometimes have a downward spiral, which we were seeing in the last 3 games, starting from the Bayern Munich match. Coming to this game against Liverpool, this wasn't just a win. Chelsea exposed them with tactics, tempo and tenacity. Chelsea had Sanchez in goal. Reece James was playing as a fullback on the right-hand side with Achimpong and Badiashile as centre-backs, and Cucurella on the right-hand side. For a change and for a surprise, Malagusto was playing in midfield along with Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez, and I really like Enzo Fernandez in this game. I know that he has had stinkers in the last couple of games, where he looked unfit and he wasn't looking in the real deal. But in this game, we'll come to it, he was really magnificent. Neto was on the right-hand side, Garnacho was on the left-hand side, and Joao Pedro up top. Chelsea knew from the word go that they have to press this Liverpool side if they were to have any chance of succeeding. And that is exactly what they did with the first key moment on the 13th minute at the clock. Caicedo scored a banger. He only scores banger. He's a midfielder who plays as a 6, 8 or at any other position. But whenever it comes to Caicedo and him scoring goals, they are always top class. And that is what Caicedo did. And Chelsea started the press unbelievably well. And, have the first goal under their belt within the first 15-20 minutes. And from then onwards, up until the first half, it was Chelsea's defense, their pressing, their passing, their chance creation, everything was at top level. And, even on the wings with both Garnacho and Neto, they were always coming back to help, the defenders, the midfielders. And as and when there is an off-ball movement, Garnacho has always taken the step to really push, the fullbacks of Liverpool as back as possible. He was incredible, to say the least. He was really, really good, at least in the first half. As in how the second half started, Liverpool started getting some sort of dominance back into their game. And within the first 10 minutes, even with the amount of injuries that Chelsea have had in the last few weeks, and obviously human errors, red cards galore, Chelsea were only down to 2 centre halves, and one of them was Badiashile, who has come back after 6 months of injury. And he was also taken off because of a knock. Not sure, if this injury has been aggravated or is it just a case of precaution being taken. Chelsea had to bring in Joral Hato, who was playing on the left-hand side where Badiashile left. But Badiashile's first half performance was something to remember. I have not seen Badiashile this good in the last 1.5, 2 years, ever since he's moved from Monaco to Stamford Bridge. But this performance was one of his best. I just hope and pray that, international break has come at the very right time, and all these injuries, little knocks that these players have had over the last couple of weeks, obviously because of an extended, last season with the Club World Cup. I hope that these guys recover well, and when they come, they are back at their full peak. And from then onwards, Chelsea start to regain the momentum that they have gained in this specific game, beating Liverpool, the champions. Even within the next 10 minutes, we also saw Achimpong, the other centre-back, also getting injured. And at one point in time, Chelsea were playing with 4 full-backs at the back line, and still that defensive unit was faultless, to say the least. Everybody was defending practically at the very highest level. Reece James has never played as a centre-back, but he was doing everything possible to make sure that Isaac doesn't come near, Chelsea's 18-yard or the final third. And it was once again a world-class performance by Reece James, Caicedo. And before we actually get into the last one, I wanted to bring, this another error which lead to Chelsea conceding the goal in the 67th minute. Malo Gusto was at fault. It was just about a lapse in concentration for a split of a second, and Cody Gakpo was right on the money. Liverpool was back to where, you thought the champions would be, and Chelsea fans were getting nervous at that point in time. And, everybody once again thought, since, up until the 90th minute, things were looking a bit wayward with both teams playing a basketball game. Everybody was trying to kill each other. And at the 73rd minute, Maresca made a tactical change. He brought in 3 young kids, Mark Guiu, Estevao, and Jamie Gittins, the same Jamie Gittins who has been criticized ever since he's moved from Borussia Dortmund to Chelsea. But those last 15 minutes were absolutely top class. I have not seen Chelsea play this aggressively well with 18, 19 and 20-year-old respectively, and 3 of them were nuisance. They were creating so much havoc in Liverpool's backline that even an experienced player like Van Dijk was really finding it difficult to deal with Mark Guiu. And then, came the moment of the game. Liverpool thought they were walking away with the point. 95th minute of the game, and came Estevao, the player from Palmeiras, the player Chelsea have bet the maximum amount of money on a 17, 18-year-old kid, and he produced a performance of a lifetime. His first ever goal at the Bridge. He had ice in his veins, and Stamford Bridge was at shock. Everybody was bouncing. Chelsea took home the victory from the jaws of maybe a draw. And since this has come with pure passion, pure dominance, and maybe, just maybe, is this the turning point of our season? I know we still have so many players on stretches, especially the centre backs. Few because of the red cards. After the international break, most of these players will come back, and we expect Chelsea to dominate once again. I have my fingers crossed, and I hope that when Chelsea returns back in 2 weeks' time, these guys are going to take the mantle in their hand and pull up all the trees to make sure that Chelsea reaches to those heights where we belong. Thank you so very much for watching, giving love to this channel. Do drop in a comment if you feel that Chelsea are going to be challenging for the title this season, next season, or whenever with these kids. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching and have a lovely day.